Hi, it's me, your friendly neighborhood ARC teacher, and I'm going to show you how to use Google Forms today. So if you would get into Google, usually you can find things that you need up in the little squares up at the top here. So if you click there, sometimes it'll show up right away. Occasionally you might have to add more. So you'll see Google Forms. If that does not work, if you just type into your browser up top, Google Forms, it'll pop it up for you. If you actually click on this one right here instead, it'll open up Google Forms for you. So the first thing you're going to want to do is have somebody from your group set this up. They can click on blank. Once they have done that, you're going to want to adjust some of your settings. So if you head up to the little cog up there, click that. After that, you have to make a decision for yourself. So you probably don't want this to collect email addresses because then people will not maybe answer things quite as honestly as they would without having their email address on there. If you're wanting to restrict this to Grand Blanc students, please have restrict Grand Blanc Community Schools users clicked there. You may want to click limit to one response so people aren't putting in multiple responses. It's up to you whether you hit edit after submit or not. You probably don't care that people see summary charts. They don't want to see your evidence. You don't need to worry about presentation or quizzes. So once you've done that, you can click save. The next thing you want to do is go up to the send. That will eventually take you to information where you'll be able to send this out via email or to collect a link. We'll look at that again in a moment. There's little three dots up at the top here. Click that. This way you'll be able to add collaborators. So you can go on down to add collaborators. And you can type in your group members' names here. Here, I'll send it to Mr. Taylor. I'm sure he really cares about what we're doing in ARC. He'll probably be like, what is this? If you want them to be notified that they've received it, have that clicked, and then you can hit send. All right, so here's what we're going to do. You want to give your form a title. If I'm interviewing people or surveying people about sleep, I might call this ARC Sleep Survey 2018. So that way they get like a little thing in there that tells them what they're about to do. You'll type in your first question here. So maybe your first question is something like, how old are you? You have lots of different options for different types of questions you can ask, like multiple choice, different check boxes, drop-down options. You can have people answer in a short answer or a paragraph. It's kind of up to you. But for most of your questions, you're going to be using multiple choice. So all you have to do is type in your responses. It'll put it in so that people have to just click the little buttons. If you have an other option, you can click add other, and they'll be able to type in a response there instead. For each of your questions, you're going to have to decide whether or not these are required. If they are, you can click on this little required button here. That way, it will require them to answer the question. To ask another question, you add the plus sign. So let's say, for example, you want there to be an optional question. So if you answered the last question that you are 14, how much sleep do you get? Something like that. So now we don't want to make this a required question because we're asking only the people that put down that they're 14 on there. So maybe you're going to have like a short answer question here instead where they'll have the option to type in information for you. Lots of different ways that you can go about that. So to add more questions, again, you just keep clicking this plus button. You can reorganize questions. If you want this question to go above the previous question, there's these like little dots right there. You just drag it on up to wherever you want it to go. It could go at the beginning, it could go at the end. It's up to you. Eventually, we'll get to a point where you're going to send this out. So once your survey is done, you've checked it out, made sure it's perfect, everything's spelled correctly so that you are putting forth your best professional effort. You click send, click on the little link button. Now this link is obscenely long. Nobody's going to type that in. If you want, you can click shorten URL. Still, that's pretty long, but maybe that's something that you want to go with. You're fine with it. You could post this to Twitter. You could post it in your classrooms, whatever you want to do. But let's say you're still thinking this is kind of long. It's kind of complicated because there's like capital letters and lowercase letters. Go ahead and hit copy and then open up a new tab and type in tinyurl.com. It'll probably pop it right up for you. Once that opens, we can enter a long URL to make it tiny. So I had copied it, so let's paste. Clearly, I've been looking at running clothes on underarmour.com. So you can click in custom alias. It'll give you a shorter URL that you've decided on. So if I want my URL to be Arc Sleep Tailor, something like that, type in whatever you eventually want it to be, and then click Make Tiny URL. If that is available, it'll open it up in a new tab here, or new window, I guess. So you can copy that to a clipboard, and then anytime anybody then goes to that, so if I type that in there or paste it into there, it'll pop up your survey for you. And this is what people will see when they go there. So I will be back tomorrow if you have any questions. Make sure these are perfect before you give them out. Please, 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 please be professional. No questions that you wouldn't ask your grandma. So, all right, good work.